Welcome back to Told Y'all, the podcast that gives you the backstage pass to culture, creativity, and the people making it. I'm your host, Kelly Krause, and today we're sitting down with Dr. Shannon Ritchey, founder of Evlo Fitness, a former physical therapist, and a leading voice in redefining how we approach fitness and strength training. With over 15 years of experience, Shannon is known for her science-backed approach to building muscle with less wear and tear on the body, challenging the go harder mentality in favor of smarter programming, proper recovery, and something she calls gentle consistency. She's helping people understand that more isn't always better, that soreness isn't the goal, and that you can't simply earn or burn your food through exercise. I was introduced to Shannon's work through my sister, who I trust implicitly because she really does her research and takes a more measured approach to fitness, where I, on the other hand, am a bit all or nothing and was deep in the world of fitness boot camps and burnout. So the idea of an at-home program built on a more gentle approach didn't quite compute to me. But because it came from Nicole, I gave it a shot. And I'm so glad I did. Shannon is doing things differently. She's not just teaching fitness, she's deprogramming people from fitness culture and giving us permission to do less, but better. So today we're getting into it. What actually works, what's just marketing, and how to build a routine that's effective, sustainable, and actually lasts. So Shannon, welcome.
Do you want to write our website copy? I mean, wow. That was amazing. Best
Thank
intro
you.
ever.
I mean, you've been on a lot of podcasts. That's a high praise.
You really smashed it.
Well, it's true. You really have. I mean, I'm stoked to have you here because you have absolutely changed the way that I think about fitness, how I approach fitness, wellness, food, earning and burning. I'm not the same person that I was prior to being introduced to Evlo and listening to your podcasts and really like being immersed in it. So truly, thank you. I know that you have changed my life in that way, and I know you've changed others. So
well, that makes me so happy because I know the power that it had on me. And so I just know that there are so many other women out there who have to feel the same because we were all raised in the same culture around this stuff.
100%.
And so I just think that it sounds sometimes dramatic to be like, this can change your life, but like fitness and food, and it's all so intertwined in our brains. And it's always spinning. Am I doing enough? I need to go eat. Like, should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Do I need to go burn this off? Like all of that is just always in the background for so many of us. So
it's how I grew up. I only knew fitness as a way to get skinny.
yes,
Like working out meant I would lose weight. I would burn calories. I eventually understood, it helps with your mood and it helps regulate hormones. But that was not marketed to me.
Yes.
It was always you work out, you lose weight.
Yes.
And eating, of course, was a part of the equation too. But the way that I understood calories in, calories out was so different as well. And we're going to get into that. But I'm just kind of curious. Take me back to the beginning. How did we get here? Where did you get your start?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell the origin story short.
Okay.
So because there's a lot of dips and dives and turns, but essentially I have been in the fitness industry for 15 years. Started Evlo 6 years ago. When I first started in the fitness industry, I was doing what a lot of people do and are taught to do. So lots of sweaty exercise, lots of burning calories. My workout didn't count unless I started my fitness watch. If I didn't burn enough, I would do jumping jacks in my apartment at the end of the day. It was very much like calories in, calories out, tracking it, working as hard as possible, punishing myself, eating, sometimes binging on the weekends, a lot of times binging on the weekends. I'll work that off next week and all my workouts next week. So it was very much, yes, exactly what you described, trying to make myself smaller. I was strength training because I was in physical therapy school, so I understood the importance of muscle and getting strong, but I was strength training too much and too often and doing all of the cardio and boot camp and bar classes and toning and all that.
Yeah.
So eventually what this did for me was it gave me chronic pain all over my whole body. At the age of 24, I herniated a disc in my low back, didn't recover. That spiraled into hip pain, wrist pain, neck pain. My whole body felt like it was falling apart. I remember going to a restaurant with my husband and not being able to sit at a bar stool. And so we walked out of the restaurant and left because my back would hurt too bad.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, is this the price that I need to pay to be fit? And as I started practicing as a physical therapist, a lot of my patients felt the same. They were broken down. They were fitness minded. It wasn't a discipline problem. They were going to all the group fitness classes, but they felt horrible. And I would put them back together and then they would go back to their workout and come right back to me. And I told them, like, this is kind of just the symptom. If you want to be fit and you want to, like, quote unquote, look good, like, you're just probably not going to feel great all the time.
You have to pay the price for it.
You have to pay the price.
And these were young clients of yours too?
Young clients. A lot of them were like young moms. I saw like all types of people, and what I found is like, this wasn't one type of workout. This was systemic. I was seeing people from like yoga, kind of like sculpty yoga classes or boot camps or CrossFit or all of it. I saw people experiencing joint pain from all of this. And so my patients would be like, well, what should I do instead? And I was like, I honestly don't know. Like, I would personal train you, but like, I don't have time. You know what I mean? And there wasn't something that I could send them to. Fast forward to starting Evlo, learning about all of these things. I completely transformed my body when I started learning about the science of exercise, the science of calorie expenditure, the science of hypertrophy or muscle growth. And when I started applying these things, I ironically got in the best shape of my life. So I lost about 5 pounds of fat and gained 8 pounds of muscle over a year.
Wow.
And that maybe doesn't sound like super impressive numbers, but I was already pretty fit before that. And so I got in the best shape of my life. And I worked out for far less time than ever. 35-minute classes, as you know, as opposed to like 60 minutes or more. My body didn't hurt all over, and my mindset was completely different around exercise. So fast forward to starting Evlo, and we're here now hoping to influence as many people as we can to do the same.
So 6 years ago, you start Evlo.
Yes.
What was your starting point? Like, what was the moment where you're like, okay, I see a need for this?
Yes.
Because based on how my clients are feeling, how I'm feeling, what is your first step to starting Evlo?
Yes. So I've always been a little bit of a serial entrepreneur. Like I love to start businesses. I've had so many tiny businesses like in high school and college and stuff. So I don't have a problem getting started with something. And in fact, this idea was definitely brewing in my brain, but I was practicing PT. So I feel like it's like, I just don't have time to like go online and develop this. Well, then COVID hit and my practice shut down. So I lost my income. My husband was in grad school, so he had no income. So I was like, I have nothing to lose. Like, I'm going to go online. I've been wanting to do this. And so I started it. I started teaching in my tiny apartment with a grainy webcam and no good sound. And I was teaching live classes. And I think Nicole was maybe an early member at that time.
When it was called Levo?
Yes, when it was called Levo. It was called Levo.
Yep.
And we went to trademark the name. We couldn't trademark the name because it was taken by someone else. So we had to change the name.
Sounds
to
like
Evlo.
some tech company or something.
I don't even know. Exactly. It's a Latin name for elevate. So it's like a common thing.
Sure.
So we changed the name, and we have iterated and changed so much, not only from a method standpoint, but from all of our tech, our team, since that first launch. Like, I remember launching and one person signed up, and I just like bawled on my living room floor because I was like, I just committed to teaching live classes every single day. What am I going to teach to one person? Yeah. And I did. I showed up and I taught to one person, and that slowly grew and compounded to where we are today.
What was the initial starting like foundation? Like how were you billing your classes? What was the format? What was the structure? Yeah. I mean, I know what Evlo is now and maybe for the past 2 or 3 years, but in that initial kickoff, day one, you're launching Evlo. What did the class look like?
I was sending out YouTube links. So I would teach live on YouTube and send out the link 5 minutes before class began. And people would grab the link and take class with me live, or they would take the recording later. But it was just I used what's called Kajabi. It was basically like, picture a Facebook group. Yeah. And with just links. Today's class, here's the equipment you need, and just join class. And a lot of times 0 people would come to the live, and then like maybe 30 people would watch the recording later. And I think we went 6 months before we hit 100 members. Wow. So it took a long time. Like, it wasn't this overnight thing by any means. That's what I was expecting, because everyone was taking their fitness online at the time.
Yep. Everyone.
Everyone was,
Yeah.
but I think it was the players that were already established that ended up getting, growing exponentially at that time. But we weren't established; we were just trying to figure it out. So
Right.
it's like throw spaghetti at the wall and figure it out.
I mean, this is when you were filming in California, right? Like outside.
I was in Durham.
You were in Durham before.
This
Okay.
was even before that.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was before we had Peyton, our instructor, our COO now, or Jill, or any of the other instructors. It was just me every single day teaching every single class. So it was crazy. And I, at the time, I was talking to every member. I was actually creating custom plans for them every single day. And so I was talking to them every day.
That's a lot.
Really it was a lot. And really learning like what they needed, what they were struggling with. And that, although it was a ton of work, it was pivotal in me developing what it is today because I learned so much from them about what they liked, what they didn't like, what resonated, what they were able to do at home. And that was huge.
Yeah. There's your data points right there.
All the data points. And I had all the data points from being in the fitness industry for so long and treating as a physical therapist. So it was like kind of all of it together that allowed me to kind of drink from the fire hose and learn.
And what do you think set you apart from the rest at that time? What was your unique differentiator?
Yes. So our whole thing was joint-friendly fitness.
Okay.
And we don't really lead with that anymore, even though it is joint-friendly fitness. But I think what people think of when they think of joint-friendly is they're like yoga, mobility, stuff that isn't going to quote unquote work.
And
like,
I think
it's
of
not going to be
older.
effective. Yes.
My mind immediately goes to that's for older people.
Older people. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But we see like, no, if you do this in your 20s or all the way up to your 70s, like you're going to see great results physically and your joints won't feel kind of broken down. But that's kind of what I was leading with at the time. I think, commonly it was either one of two things. So you either had like the boot camp, sweaty, exhausting, like probably not good for your joints. And then you had like the Pilates, mind body, yoga. There was nothing that was both effective, but not going to wear your body down and cause
burn you to the ground.
Burn you to the ground.
Yeah.
And people thought like this almost feels too easy. And I think even today, if you take an Evlo class, like, you're like, is this a quote unquote enough? But you start to see better results than you did before you did all the boot camp stuff because we're giving the body the right stimulus.
You just hit the nail on the head. When I very first saw my sister doing Evlo, I was like, no thanks. This is not, this is, you're on the ground, you're doing a modified tricep extension that I've never seen before. I'm sort of like, you should see what I do at a boot camp class. Like I can squat overhead press a lot of weight and like get on the treadmill. You know, we all know the class.
Totally.
And so I'm like, I'm getting a good workout there. Whatever you're doing is
a waste of time.
A waste of time. And I was such a skeptic.
Totally.
And then I started to see, and Nicole was introduced, I think, to it as well because through Peyton, who's one of the instructors, because she was in physical therapy at the time. And so I also thought, well, you're injured and you probably need this. Yeah. But then I started to see results. Nicole started to see results. I started to see results. She was getting stronger. Her inflammation and pain was going away. And and then I started to follow you, follow Peyton. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try it. But again, I'm a late adopter.
Yes.
I'm a skeptic. I need to see it all laid out. And I cannot tell you how much stronger I have gotten because the classes are condensed. They're not too long. They're not hours long, 35 minutes. And sometimes, admittedly, I skip the warm up. I skip the cool down. If I'm in a hurry.
You're in and out in less than that. Yeah, totally.
I do what I can. I lift heavier, shorter reps. I understand what I'm doing. I understand the modifications. The app is insanely user-friendly and easy to use. I mean, listeners, you can quite literally go into the app and track what weights you're using for each exercise so you know if it's time to maybe go up or go down or what you used last time. There's no memory needed in that.
There's we try to take the guesswork out. It sounds like we're paying you to say this. Like,
no, I know.
You're like the best spokesperson.
Because I am somebody that needs simple.
Yeah.
Totally. I need something that I'm going to stick to, that I will remain consistent to, because my entire life, for as long as I, was a young girl, I have been very all or nothing, very burn my body to the ground. I mean, we won't get into this, but had an eating disorder at a very young age. And so I need something that can sustain, that is kind and gentle, but where I'm also seeing results and feeling stronger and kind of accomplished. I love feeling that accomplishment in a workout.
Yes.
And I'm not sweating.
Right.
Like I really don't sweat in this class.
Which is nice because then
I love.
Right. And you don't have to wash your hair as much.
Yeah.
You're not getting like all sweaty.
And I'm only sore if I've taken time off
Yeah.
and I'm back at it. So,
Totally.
and we'll get into the idea of soreness and
All those
toning and
myths,
such,
yeah.
but I think it's really interesting how you started as joint friendly and then have moved into this idea of gentle consistency.
Yes.
And, I think that's probably what your audience is most drawn to, is that they can be the word gentle, but also strong is kind
they
of
seem
polar
like,
opposites.
And that's my whole mission right there.
Yeah.
Is to show people that they are not opposites.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they're super symbiotic. Like a workout that is the most effective for your body will stimulate your body just enough to create change, but not so much that it creates unwanted symptoms like joint pain, inflammation, lots of soreness. So the idea is that when you're stimulating your body in the right ways, it will feel more gentle because it won't feel like what we're used to, slamming our bodies into the ground. But ironically, it will be more effective because not only are you stimulating your body in the right ways, but you're able to stay consistent.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, you're not burned down physically, and mentally it's easier to show up for knowing like this isn't going to smash me.
Right.
Like, it's easier to like click play and get going. So it's really my mission to show people, because we have an epidemic of people are not strength training.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with, we could have a whole conversation about.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they think that it needs to look a certain way.
Sure.
And it's intimidating. Or they're like, I am strength training it, but they're lifting weights in their favorite group fitness class, but they're not getting anywhere near failure, which it basically isn't doing very much for their bodies. And so I think that people think it needs to be heavy barbells at the gym next to the bros and like
CrossFit,
or it needs to be CrossFit, or it needs to be high rocks, or it needs to be whatever. And it's like, no, like you just need to apply, and there's guardrails around it. And we could talk about like the things that need to be in the routine, in your routine, but it doesn't have to look like all of those things, which makes it a lot more approachable, I think. And again, I just think that we are going to see people losing muscle at earlier and earlier ages. And so it's incredibly important to build muscle.
Well, and to your point, I think the fitness industry is one of the loudest industries right now.
100%.
I just talked to Renee Rouleau about the skincare industry and beauty, and that's equally as loud. And we're, as consumers, asked to cut through this marketing noise and this noisy industry, but we don't know where to start because we're overwhelmed by influencers who, are showcasing their before and afters, and they have the plan. And fitness brands who are stepping in as the leaders in the space, and they have the answers. And I think it's very confusing. And I have been a part of that industry, both in this is what's worked for me and how do I know what's what and what's right. So what do you think people are getting wrong right now? And the second part of that is, where do we start?
Yeah.
What do we know is right?
I think, first of all, great questions. I think what we're getting wrong for the most part is we are using exercise as a tool to lose fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you do that, you will not only not see the results that you're after, but it will lead you to do workouts that won't actually be effective for changing your body composition. We see from many studies that fat loss is very minimal when you add exercise. Something like a few pounds of fat over a year when you add exercise and you don't change diet. So that's a lot of work to just see a few pounds of fat loss. And so people understandably burn out and quit and stop. But when you can reframe, my workout is to build muscle. My workout is to improve my cardiovascular system. I'm not saying cardio is bad. I'm not saying don't do cardio. Please do the cardio. But my workout is not my primary tool to lose fat. And you start using your nutrition for fat loss, if that's your goal. When you pair those two things, you will see incredible body composition changes. Because then you are using nutrition for fat loss. You are using exercise to at least maintain muscle so that any weight that you lose is coming from fat, not muscle. you all of a sudden, that's when you see those like transformations when you're pairing those two things together. But I think we're just taught to use exercise to like burn off as many calories as possible. And we just see that it doesn't work that way.
It's the only way that I knew it.
Yeah.
Truly. And to your point, that's exactly, I think, the behavior switch for me, which that takes a while. Like retraining our brain is not an overnight thing. It requires consistent effort and showing up and relearning everything we've been marketed for years. I mean, a child of the 80s into the 90s and the marketing. And we'll get into this. You have an awesome podcast capsule right now that really kicks off with you've been lied to in the fitness industry. Yeah. So before we get into that though, can you tell me more about our TDEE? Yes. Which is something that was such a game changer for me. And I feel like if anyone takes anything away today, aside from just understanding more about Evlo and the program, but calculating your TDEE, I think can be quite a game changer for people.
Yes. So this is a concept that one of the concepts that truly changed my mindset around fitness, because I learned that exercise burns far fewer calories than we believe or than we've been taught to believe or that your fitness watch can measure. And in fact, there was a paper that was just published in February of 2026 that found exercise burns about 30% of the calories that you would expect it to burn. And this is because our body reallocates energy throughout the day if you've done a lot of exercise to keep you within a narrow window of calorie expenditure. So your workouts are burning far fewer than you think. And in fact, it's probably just not smart to worry about how many calories you're burning because it's very, very difficult to track. Yeah. And so I recommend not tracking or worrying about how many calories you've burned at all. Stay active overall for sure, but don't track it, because as soon as you start to put that into a calorie tracker and you're tracking your food, it's going to far overestimate how many you're burning and you'll be eating in a surplus.
1,000%.
So I think that's important to first say is like, okay, exercise absolutely burns calories. I'm not saying that. And it does influence your total daily energy expenditure, which I'll get into in a moment. But I think that just disconnecting that is like the first step. The second step, if your goal is what's called body recomposition, so losing fat while you're building muscle, is to calculate your total daily energy expenditure and eat either at your maintenance or slightly below that maintenance point. You don't want to be super in a huge calorie deficit because our bodies don't like big energy deficits. And so what happens is hunger always wins. You will kind of end up swinging the other way around. I think we can probably all relate to that when you like go on a crash diet and then you're like, and then you binge and then you're like, oh, I'm back to square one.
Yep. That pendulum is,
it's real. It's real. So being in a slight calorie deficit, like maybe 200 calories, like that's not a lot at all from your maintenance. And how you calculate your total daily energy expenditure is you can use an online calculator and you kind of plug in your height, your weight, your age, and your activity levels, and it will kind of spit out a number for you. Now, that number isn't like Bible, like you could be slightly above, slightly below, and it takes some experimenting, but kind of eating within that window, and then strict training so that you're making sure that, again, all weight loss is coming from fat, not muscle. Did I explain that?
You did. And I think for me, it was just such an unlock to understand your basal metabolic rate.
Yes.
So what you're burning if you were in a coma. Right?
Yes.
Like if you were doing absolutely nothing, I'm making up these numbers, and you can find this if you just Google TDEE calculator. There's several online, but understanding that no matter what you're doing, again, making these numbers up, say it's 1,500 calories, you're burning that already throughout the day. And then if you're adding in, height, weight, movement, et cetera, that number is increasing.
Yes.
But then knowing that your body reaches, again, I'm not a scientist, so please correct me here, but your body becomes so efficient at burning that, to your point, maybe you're going to hit that 30% or burn what you actually think 30% of those calories you think you're burning, but your body goes into reserve mode to help with brain function, or if you're moving around and doing laundry.
Yes.
So it just, am I explaining that right? It
no,
just like really
it's
reframed how I looked at calorie burn. And
I think it's what we're finding is that we're just not burning as much as we think we are. And so like, let's just stop using exercise as that tool to increase that number, because then what, I don't know, like you could probably relate to this, but when I was like, I'm going to increase that number as much as possible so that I can eat more.
Yes.
I over-exercised. I did a lot of cardio. I burned myself out. I would be injured all the time. And then you take days off, and then, or you just like mentally, you're like, I can't do this. Like, oh my gosh. And so it's very start, stop. And like, then what's the point of that? That's not really helping your health. And I think when I talk about this, like the first thing people say is like, so you're telling me I can't burn off what I eat? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of. And at first people are disappointed because they're like, dang, like I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to enjoy my favorite foods. And I'm like, please still enjoy your favorite foods.
Yes.
Because it's all about the balance of it overall. And it's not just, my husband and I go on a date night every single week. I always get dessert. I always get a couple cocktails. You know, it's just like, I don't think that, again, we need to be all or nothing about our food either. But when you understand that you can't actually use your exercise to burn off what you ate, you are actually a lot more conscious about what you eat and when you want to enjoy those times where you're eating something that you're like, okay, I know this is high in calories, but I want it. I love it. I'm not going to punish myself tomorrow because I know that doesn't work. So it actually improves your relationship to movement and food.
Absolutely. I think I listened to one of your podcast episodes around Thanksgiving and kind of talking about be gentle on yourself going into this holiday, because you're not, whatever workout you're doing is not burning what you're eating. And this is paired at the same time when these group fitness classes are promoting turkey burns and
turkey trots
and you know, all of these exercises to put you in that mindset and mentality. And so it was such a behavior shift for me. And I might not be explaining like the calorie portion correctly, but it was okay. But it was just so eye-opening to me, and it makes me just really, you know, wonder if it's like, do we not trust results unless we are burning our bodies to the ground and we are sweating and we are, I mean, thank God for Evlo and never having to do a burpee again in my life or a squat to overhead press.
Right.
Or go into a group fitness class and just know that we're not there's no modifications given to you. There's no consideration for what we've done the rest of the week with our bodies. Like that's why I love Evlo, because the programming is super structured and linear, which I don't think we've actually, like if you could just give an umbrella overview of what Evlo is today and how it's structured, I think that would help.
Yes, for sure. And I could do this one of two ways. I could talk about like what we actually do, or I could talk about kind of the method of building muscle that we apply into our app, because it's just like, if we talk about the method, then we're like, okay, that's just what we do. So maybe I could start there and then we can follow up. But it's called, I use this framework. You probably know this framework. It's called the REPS framework.
Yes,
so
I love this.
REPS. Okay. This is a good place for me to talk about. Okay. So, if you do these 4 things, I can pretty much guarantee you will see results. Now, you have to do them for long enough. It's not just 2 weeks and your body transforms. Muscle growth takes about 8 to 12 weeks. Okay. So you have to be patient enough. But REPS, each letter stands for a different principle of building muscle. So the R stands for repetitions. This means getting to failure or 1 to 3 reps shy of failure in every set of every exercise. Rep ranges, you could do anywhere from about 4 reps all the way up to about 30 reps. So you're lifting heavier, or you can lift relatively light as long as your final rep is to failure or near failure.
And how do you know you're at failure? Is it the feeling of burning? What is that?
Great question. It's not necessarily the feeling of burning, but the burn can accompany failure. Okay. So failure means you are physically unable to do another rep despite your best efforts. Okay. And kind of the best way to know if you're at failure or if you're just fatigued and you're feeling a burn is to do your last rep. You're like, okay, I think I'm at failure. Like you're doing a bicep curl. You're like, ooh, I could barely eke out the last rep. Yeah. Okay, you're at failure. Maybe. Drop the weights. Shake it out for 5 seconds, pick the weights up again, and try to do more reps. If you could do 3 or more reps, you were not at failure. You were just fatigued. So that means do more weight next time or do some more reps so that you can get closer to that failure point. That alone will change your results. Like most people are not training close enough to failure
Yeah.
because we are stopped by fatigue, we're stopped by boredom. We're given just do 10 reps and we do those 10 reps, but the 10th rep isn't anywhere near failure. We do it for a certain amount of time. We're trying to follow a class. And so there's all sorts of reasons why people don't get close to failure. But if you could do the same workout, but just start doing that and you will see so much better results. So that's R.
Well, and not to interrupt
No,
you,
please.
but I love in your class that your instructors, and you will even say, if you are rushed, or you'll say, I was rushed today, so I grabbed a heavier weight.
Yes.
And I did less reps because I got to failure quicker.
Yes,
So
exactly.
you put that, like, you give us the agency to determine what our body needs and what we need based on the time we have.
Totally. If you're shorter on time and you like, okay, I want to do 6 reps instead of like, a little bit more of a moderate range, like 15, I'm just going to do 6 reps and I'm going to fast forward in the class. And there we go. I just saved, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, but that adds up.
I do it all the time.
All the time. And it's interesting because people think you have to lift heavy to build muscle. And what we see from the literature is that's not necessarily true. You don't have to do, the low rep range, like 4, 6, even 10 reps. You could do all the way up to 30. And that makes workouts a lot more approachable for so many people because they're takes the fear out of it a little bit when you lift a little bit lighter, and it's still just as effective. But so that's the R. And then there's E. So E is exercise selection. Choose an exercise that targets one muscle group at a time. What a lot of people do is they try to do everything with one exercise. So they do the squat to overhead press where you're working your legs and you're working your arms at the same time. There's also some trunk component. So there's a lot going on. The problem with that exercise is it's more metabolic conditioning and cardio than it is true strength and muscle building. And this is because you won't be limited by any one given muscle group. The limiting factor typically is overall fatigue or something is burning. Or you've hit the allotted amount of time or reps or whatever. But your legs probably could do more, or maybe your shoulders could even do more. So separate out those two movements, do legs separately from shoulders and do trunk separately so that you can more reliably take each area close to failure. That's exercise selection. I could go on and on, but one more thing I'll say about exercise selection is choose exercises that you enjoy. Like you just said, I'm never going to make you do a burpee. I'm never going to make you do push-ups if you don't like them. Never going to make you do any exercise you don't like. We have too much options and variety for you to force yourself into exercises that don't feel right for any reason. And so just choose a different exercise that works the same muscle group and take it close to failure and carry on.
Well, and the beauty of what you have in your app is, which the app design is truly incredible. I've never seen
We've done a lot of work on it.
Anything like it ever. But you have the exercise, but you also allowed us to toggle to a different modification or a different, not even modification, but a different workout.
Exactly. And we always say like, this is a 1-for-1 swap. I think the word modification sometimes that's why we use swap. Cause it's like, some people think, this is easier if I'm doing a modification. It's like, no, this works the same muscle in the same way. But it's more comfortable and it's more enjoyable. And then what happens with that is you end up showing up to your workouts more often because you're like, I'm not going to make myself do work like exercises that I absolutely dread and hate. And I could go on and on about all the reasons for doing that, but that changes the game. And then the P is protein. So eating 0.75 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day.
Protein is everywhere.
Protein is everywhere.
And the conversation is everywhere. Are we just not getting enough or what?
It's interesting because different scientists will tell you different things. And this is why I'm so glad I'm not in the nutrition. Like I'm not formally trained in nutrition. So I'm so glad that I'm outside of this debate right now because there's a lot of conflicting information. I will just say anecdotally, I see better results when I eat higher protein. There's all this interesting data about it might help with satiety. Protein actually has a higher thermic effect of food. So is it calorie for calorie? Is protein actually lower in calories after you account for how much it takes to like digest and break down? Again, just interesting things. But I personally see better results when I eat higher protein.
And I really do feel better when I eat more protein. But we need protein to build muscle.
To build muscle, yes, exactly. So dietitians typically recommend 0.75 to 1 gram per pound of body weight per day. And then we've got the S. So S is structure. Structure is something that I think a lot of people fly right past, especially with ClassPass and going to group fitness classes. And when you throw spaghetti at the wall, your body doesn't respond. You need to work each muscle group 1 to 2-ish times per week on non-consecutive days. So structuring your workout so that you're working each major muscle group around 2 times. But leaving days in between so that your body can recover and repair, because that's when muscle and strength and adaptation happens, is when you give your body that space to repair.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Evlo. It's structured for me.
Yes.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I do the 5-day-a-week track, the Build Plus track, if anyone's curious. And I love it. Although I do kind of want to try the 3-day-a-week track that are longer.
3 days.
Yeah, that are longer. Just to
the
see
3-day track. Yeah.
how it resonates with me. But where does cardio come into play?
Yes.
And how much cardio should we be doing? And there's a lot of noise within cardio.
There's
Zone 2.
So much noise within cardio.
Where do we start?
You know, it's interesting. I've kind of gone full circle with my views about cardio. At first I loved it. And then I kind of got turned off. I was like, you don't need it at all. Strength training can double as cardio. And now I've kind of come back to, I do think that we need cardio because strength training just doesn't have the same cardiovascular benefits as more true cardio. Now, as far as zones go, again, I've kind of come full circles with this. I'm kind of just stay active and do the zones that you can recover from, that you can fit into your life, and that you enjoy doing. So what I tend to recommend is 150 minutes of cardio per week. Most of that cardio is going to be light to moderate intensity cardio.
Okay.
The bulk of that 150 minutes. And the reason for that is that it improves your cardiovascular system, but it's easy to recover from. So it's not as likely to interfere with your recovery and therefore the results that you're seeing from your strength training and your performance in your strength training.
Okay.
I do recommend a tiny little bit of that. And I mean a tiny bit, like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes a week.
A week.
To be high intensity cardio.
Okay. What would that look like?
This is like like our intervals class. So it's like sprint training, 30 seconds all out. This is your zone 5. This is your super maximal effort. You're emptying the tank completely for 30 seconds. And then you rest for a few minutes, get the heart rate almost completely down to resting, and then do that again. We only do it twice. There's been some interesting literature to show that 2 times can be enough to drive significant changes in your cardiovascular system. Yes, it's really interesting. Very low dose can have major impacts. And we have an intervals class. I either teach it or I take it once a week. Okay. And that's it. And then all the other cardio, my cardio is just walking in our neighborhood. We have a hilly neighborhood. And so we're pushing strollers, and my cardio is my heart rate's definitely getting up there. But a lot of people walk and they're on flat surface. So they're not getting into a challenging enough cardiovascular place. That's when you can add a weighted vest which
I was going to talk about. We got to talk about
we got to talk about the weighted vest.
Well, the 150 minutes, that's where you're saying it's not, we might need to add a little bit more to increase that.
If you are walking and you're not getting into at least zone 2. So zone 2 is where you feel your heart rate rising. You could still hold a conversation, but it's getting a little bit more difficult to hold that you could talk, not sing.
Yeah. So power walk maybe.
Power walk. Yeah. Power walk or add a weighted vest or do some hills.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. See, to me, this is so simple and helpful and less than what I've been fed my entire life about 7 days a week, hitting it hard. Yeah. Spin classes, boot camps.
Well, we could get all into the marketing of why we're fed this, and there's so much. I think it's fascinating, but one of the reasons why we believe that we need to work out 7 days a week and we need to do 45 minutes or longer, guess who benefits from that? Studios that offer 45 to hour-long classes. Yeah. And they benefit when you go every day. Yeah. So they benefit because they make you believe that you need to do 45 minutes to an hour, because who's going to go do a 35-minute class? It's like by the time you drive there, you want to stay for at least the full hour. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's
and how do they make money off a 35-minute class?
How do they make money off 35-minute class? And how do they make money if people are only going 3 to 5 times a week? So when you start to kind of look at it that way, it's like,
so true. Yeah. Is there a reason, because you're in Austin now, which you went from Durham to Los Angeles, then to Austin. Yes. And what year did you move here? 2021 too?
2022, I think. Okay. Yeah, I've been here 2.5 years, whatever that was.
Is there a reason why you've just focused with online versus in person?
We are constantly dabbling with the idea of studios, and I would love to, because that's the number one request we get from people. They're like, I love your method. There's nothing like it that exists out there, but I need to go in person and I need to have the community. I get out of the house, whatever. Yeah. And we've struggled with it because it's just a difficult concept to do in a group class.
Mm-hmm.
You're training near failure. And so by the nature of that, everyone's stopping at a different time. So a follow along class is kind of hard.
Yeah.
We've thought about doing like circuit style. We've thought about doing like maybe like rooms. Like, have you heard of like Hot Works where they have the rooms with the TV? We've thought about doing that where you can go play your class and all the equipment's there. You could go with a couple friends and like take a class together. But I mean, in brick and mortar is like a whole different business as well. So like there's the operation side of it as well. And also, I mean, there's so many things. I love talking about this, but we want our quality of instructors to stay really high. Every single instructor is a doctor of physical therapy, and we train them for like 6 months or longer, each of them. So I worry about the quality of instructor if we did that too, because we'd have to hire a lot of people.
I mean, Nicole and I over Christmas just went to the YMCA, got a membership while we were home, and popped open our phones, started at the same time, and just did our workout together. Yeah, did the class together. And I think we might have used one phone versus two, but yeah, we did it together. But I like it online, which is so wild because I've never been an at-home online workout girl. I love community, but I kind of like that this is for me.
It is nice. Like I think it's one of those things that when you start to work out from home, you kind of never go back because it saves you so much time.
So much time. I've done Evlo in my pajamas.
Yes.
It's
easy to like kind of wedge into your day. You're more likely to stay consistent because of that. But I get it. Like people are like, again, I also think there's the element, I was just talking to my husband yesterday about this, with all these like studios popping up, which I think is awesome. But there's the element of like sceniness and like going to be seen.
Yeah.
And like and that's not our vibe at all. Like we're like, our whole thing is like science backed. Like, it's not about the scene or the trend. It's like, we just want you to do what's best for your body. Yeah. So how does that fit into like a studio's concept? No.
Speaking of trends, because there's a lot of them in the fitness space, and talking about weighted vests. How do we feel about them? I bought one. I fell into the trap. I can tell a difference when I wear it around the lake and I go for a walk. Like my heart rate does get up there. Yes. But do we need them? Is it just a fad?
It is a little bit overhyped.
Okay.
So let's talk about where it has benefit and where it's overhyped.
Okay.
So weighted vests are great when you need a little bit more of a cardiovascular challenge. If your walking is no longer getting you in a high enough cardiovascular zone, you can add a weighted vest that just adds a little bit of challenge. But weighted vests are not good for building muscle. They're not good for building bone, and they're not good for fat loss.
Yeah.
They're not doing any of those things very reliably or very significantly. But if you like wearing it, I see them everywhere. And I think people are replacing their weighted vest walks with strength training or other forms of cardio. And I think or diet.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're kind of missing the mark.
What about vibration plates?
Vibration plates also are everywhere. And the evidence on this is also very weak. Again, they aren't significantly burning fat. They aren't significantly building bone. If you're exercising on a vibration plate, in my mind—
Oh, people exercise on them.
Yeah, people will do like planks and lunges on them. In my mind, what that does is it adds an extra layer of balance and stability. And people are like, I'm contracting so much harder. But the problem is that's primarily training your stability system and your balance system. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily training your muscular system more effectively. As we do in Evlo, getting more stable increases what's called motor output. When your body senses, I'm safe in this exercise, I'm not going to fall over, I don't have to contract a lot at once, you can send stronger signals to the targeted muscle, train that muscle closer to failure, and get a stronger input and therefore a better output. So vibration plates have been shown to improve lymphatic drainage.
That's how I'm seeing the messaging right now.
Yes. And that's really interesting to me because lymphatic drainage is having a whole moment. I think people think that like you look more quote unquote snatched if you have like better lymphatic drainage, and movement improves lymphatic drainage.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to stand on the vibration plate. You can, I mean, if it's easy, great. Or you can just kind of move around a little bit and that helps too.
Okay. Now I know Pilates is not a trend per se, but as it relates to a method of muscle building and strength, where does it, and I know you cover this in your podcast too, which we'll get into, but where does that fit in? Like, let's say I'm doing Evlo and I'm doing my cardio. a girlfriend asked me to go to Pilates. What is that doing to my body? Is it helping?
Yes.
Is it hindering?
Yes. Well, some people think that it builds muscle, and it can build muscle. Resistance is resistance. It doesn't matter. You don't have to lift dumbbells. You can lift kettlebells. You can use a machine. You can use your body weight depending on the exercise. As long as you're taking an exercise close to failure, that will build muscle. The problem is many Pilates exercises are not taking the lifts close to failure. They're focused on a burn.
Yeah.
They're focused on fatigue. You might get shaky, but you're not actually failing out of the exercise. There's also a lot going on. Typically you're working, or often, I don't want to say typically, people get so mad at me when I talk about this. Because there's so many different
Pilates specifically?
Yeah, because there's so many different versions of it now. And so people are like, what really is Pilates even more? I mean, I know the classical Pilates people feel very differently about the modern Pilates where you're like sweating in a room with weights. You know, it's just it's so different. But typically it's not building muscle. I will say that. What is it doing for you? Especially in beginners, it can help with your mind-body connection. It can help with your stability. So it can be a really great place for people to kind of dip their toes into using their skeletal muscle.
Yeah.
But oftentimes when you are ready to actually build muscle, you need to go to more of a hypertrophy routine, a strength training routine where you're lifting heavy weights and you're getting close to failure. So where does it fit? It depends. I mean, it depends on the method. I think you could use it on a recovery day. So if you're doing your like 5 level classes, you're doing your strength training classes, 3, however many it is, and you're like, I want to do this on my like Saturday or Sunday. And we get a lot of questions about that. Go for it. Do it. As long as you feel like it's not affecting your performance and your strength training sessions in the next few days.
Okay.
If you feel like it is making you so sore, it's wiping you out, and you're like, I feel like I'm actually not lifting as much after I do a Pilates class, then it's influencing your recovery.
Right.
And so either do less in that class and use it just kind of as like movement, stability. But I think people do it oftentimes because they want to get toned.
I was just going to say there are studios that have the word tone in the acronym of their name. And that it's what a lot of women specifically, I never hear men say it, but a lot of women specifically say, I do it because I want to get toned, which is not even a real thing.
You won't find the word toned in the academic literature.
Yeah.
It is a made up marketing term that essentially means body recomposition. So losing fat while you're building muscle. And you can absolutely lose fat and build muscle at the same time, but that comes from a combination of proper diet and strength training to build or at least maintain the muscle that you have.
Right.
So oftentimes these methods that are claiming to tone you, they're not really burning a significant amount of fat because as we talked about, fat loss is mainly nutrition. And they're also not necessarily building a lot of muscle because they're not training anywhere near failure.
Yeah.
So they aren't changing your body composition very much at all, but it feels like you are because it really burns.
Yeah.
And that burning sensation intuitively feels like it's doing something. It's like, oh, this is burning fat or this is building muscle or both at the same time.
Yeah.
So a lot of studios and concepts have kind of taken that and extrapolated it to mean like, okay, that means you're changing your body composition or you're toning your body.
Yeah. So as you see these trends come to life online, do you feel like a personal responsibility to debunk the trends or address the trends? Or how do you determine where you're going to insert yourself into the conversation? Because as a viewer and your friend, I see it so it's not all the time, it's you do it in such a way that has integrity and I trust what you're saying and you're not necessarily putting down the industry to go viral and have these big moments, but I'm curious what you choose to address.
Yes. Well, I think that's such a good question. I've never gotten asked that question, but it's something that I grapple with all the time because I won't lie. I get on Instagram every day and I'm infuriated by the things that I see just because it's so misleading. It's such a misleading industry.
Yeah.
Some people are not intentionally misleading and some people are intentionally misleading. And it just is really frustrating. It really saddens me for the consumer who is just trying to do something better for their health. And they just want to see results. They want to feel good. They want to look good. They want to live a long time. And so it's very confusing for them. So it is very frustrating for me. But at the same time, I want to meet people where they're at. And I think that there's a lot of defensiveness when I come into some of these things and I say like, let's debunk this. Let's talk about this. I get met with a lot of defensiveness and I totally understand because that's how I was when I first learned all of this.
Yeah.
I was like, you're telling me that I was wasting the last 10 years of my life doing all of these things. Like I was super defensive. I didn't want to believe it. But as soon as I did and I kind of let that go, like that's when everything really did change. So I've had to kind of tread lightly. I mean, I don't really know what the answer is. Like I don't care about going viral. I just care about telling people the truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes the truth isn't sexy and so it doesn't go viral, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because I want people to know the truth.
Well, you have integrity, which
Thank you.
You can see, and you can see it in your podcast, which maybe that is the answer. Maybe it's your podcast that becomes the avenue to educating Evlo members, potential Evlo members, or just the industry. And when I say industry, anyone that's interested in, body recompositioning or the fitness industry overall. But you have a really cool capsule out right now. It's a 9-episode series. You kick it off essentially saying like, we've been lied to in the fitness industry. And you start with, the evolution, which I think is really important to build context for the audience. And this is how we got here.
Yes.
So we're able to understand those like moments in history with marketing and how we've been spoken to as an industry about our health. And then you kind of move into what body recomposition is like, what gentle consistency is, sweaty workouts,
soreness, calories.
Yes, food, everything.
Yeah.
So what made you start that capsule collection? And is this where you would tell people to start if they had any curiosity around Evlo? Absolutely.
I think I've touched on every single one of those episodes in many, many other episodes.
Yes.
And what I've realized is it was fragmented. It was kind of spread out. And so I wanted to have one short, snappy episode about each topic that we commonly get questions about. So why don't I feel exhausted? This isn't working if I don't feel exhausted. Let's break down the science. Let's teach you exactly why. Why don't I feel sore? Should I feel sore? Can I train through soreness? Let's talk about exactly why. All of these things that were fed from marketing. First it comes from marketing, then it becomes tradition.
Yeah.
And then it is perpetuated by social media. And that trio is how things become accepted beliefs.
It's so dangerous.
It's exactly.
Like we really have to become savvy when we're looking at the marketing and who's marketing to us and look at the money backing almost everything.
Right. And I say this as a business owner, like I am like, here I am talking about this and I'm like, but Evlo does all this. But I don't know. I just feel like I will never, we always talk about this. We always want to have so much integrity with our marketing. I'm the first to say I have body recompositioned now 3 times and it is so much about nutrition. Like I've built muscle, yes, but like any fat loss that I've experienced has been my nutrition and that's not going to come from Evlo.
Yeah.
And so I try to but a lot of platforms will say, it's from the workouts and they're not honest about how they're eating and they're not honest that that's such a big part of it. So I think that when we can kind of like understand where a lot of this came from and then debunk a lot of it, not only will you see better results, but your mindset gets so much better.
Yeah.
And that is what you cannot unsee. Like I will never go back to a lot of the things I was doing because I'm just like, that just is a waste of time now that I know.
Yes. Like once you're equipped with that information, like once I learned that not even going harder with a workout, but a 10-mile walk versus a 3-mile around the lake, wearing my weighted vest or heart rate is really up, like the 8-mile easy breezy 2.5-hour walk it's probably longer than that, but is not necessarily better than the shorter condensed. No. That was such a game changer for me, an eye opener for me.
It's huge because like the calories probably aren't that different, but even if they were, we know that it's not really accounting much to your overall daily energy expenditure anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's just save us some time and energy and probably extra joint stress by just doing less but better.
Yeah. I mean, I would tell anybody listening to this to go to the Dr. Shannon show and find that capsule series, the 9-episode series. The episodes are really short and easy to digest, which truly is like the Evlo program, and really listen to those. And I think you will walk away equipped with agency and knowledge and feel really supported in getting started. But speaking of getting started, it's so much of it's a mindset shift. Like, what would you tell somebody listening who just hasn't been able to stick with anything consistent, or has been in the all or nothing phase, or really wants a program? Where's the first place they start? What do they do?
Well, if what I should say is start with Evlo. And of course I believe that, but I actually think it comes from educating yourself, because I think that if you don't understand the why, it's really hard to stay consistent with something.
Yeah.
That goes for anything. Like with skincare, I'm like, if you don't understand why you're putting something on your face and like what it's actually doing, at least for me, I'm like, I'm not going to stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not going to. And so I really do think that it's arming yourself with education, and hopefully the Dr. Shannon Show is a great resource for that. And I say, like, you can listen to that I put everything in that podcast. So you don't even have to do Evlo. You can go like listen and apply these things on your own. Yeah. And I hope that people do, because I just want this message to spread, because I just see how effective it can be. But I do think that we are very misinformed around fitness, and it's no one's fault. It's just that to this point, we have not had the right avenues. There has been no one that's really bridging science and fitness culture together. In my opinion, maybe there's a few, but like it's very rare. Yeah. It's usually one side or the other.
Agreed.
It's like the researchers that like don't necessarily know how to talk to the public or don't. And then there's like the fitness culture people who are just like on all the trends.
Yes.
I want to be that bridge.
Yeah. What's been the most surprising in the 6 years that you've had Evlo? Like, do you see more men starting to use the platform? Are you getting questions that are shifting maybe the future of Evlo? Like what's been really surprising and kind of cool for you?
That's a good question. What has been really surprising? I love when I see men doing Evlo.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because a lot of husbands will end up doing it with their wives, because they'll be like, I'm not gonna do that. It's for women.
Yeah.
And then they see them chest pressing and they see them doing like heavy weights.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I guess I could do this.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, it doesn't have to, like, men and women can train very similarly and see really similar results. And we could do a whole separate episode on that.
Yeah. And
all of the myths around that. But I think that is really fun. I mean, we don't speak to men.
Yeah.
Because I think we have so much work to do with women.
Sure. Agreed.
And a lot of times they have different mindsets, but they can benefit from the exact same training.
They do. Gosh, why do men grunt so much in the gym?
I don't know. I don't know.
I am so over it.
I don't know.
It just happened the other day, so it's top of mind for me. But I'm like, they're so loud. Maybe so loud. Yes, I'm not loud. I've never hear women loud.
I don't think I'm loud either. Like when I'm working out at home, like I'm definitely like at the end, but I'm not like, not enough to like someone could hear me through their headphones.
Yeah,
like,
I made you like a whoo, like kind of a woo, but I'm never grunting. And it's
I don't know.
mind-boggling to me. I assume you're in the fitness industry. You have all the answers. I'm like, why is this happening?
You stumped me there. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, to that point, you have all female instructors. You're very much speaking to women. And I think for me, I love having that dedicated space to talk about whether it's perimenopause, hormones. Peyton, who's your OG instructor, is pregnant right now. And you were pregnant with your second baby during that. Well, first
and second
during this. And so I can't imagine how many women that's helping. You have capsules also for.
We need to do one about women's health, pregnancy, menopause, all that, because that could be a whole nother conversation.
Well, you have workouts though, right? Like workout capsules?
Yes,
okay.
We have programs for prenatal and postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
If you are peri or postmenopause, do Evlo Weekly, which is just the regular Evlo class. If you're anywhere in between, just Evlo Weekly, because again, we see from the data that no matter your age, no matter your sex, if you train close to failure and you're working each muscle group, you're eating enough protein, you're structuring your workout, you will see results.
Yeah. What's one thing if you could tell anybody, just change this one thing for the rest of your lives as it relates to fitness, what would that be?
Train close to failure.
Close to failure.
Because people aren't doing it. They think they're doing it, but maybe they're not. And B, that is the stimulus that triggers muscle growth. And muscle is our metabolic organ.
Mm-hmm.
Muscle disposes 80% of the glucose that we eat. So not only that, it improves your body composition, it improves how you look, it improves your longevity. One recent paper found that they studied 5,000 women ages I think it was 60 to 99.
Yeah.
And they found that the strongest people lived the longest.
Of course.
So,
makes so much sense.
And we are losing muscle if you're not training it close to failure. That's the thing. People are like, oh, I'm just doing my weighted vest walks, or I'm going to my Pilates class. If you don't stimulate that muscle to a high degree, you're losing it. And that's kind of scary. And people hit, 40, 50, and they're like, my metabolism isn't what it used to be. And it's like, well, no, it's because you've lost a significant amount of lean mass, and that affects your metabolic rate.
Yeah.
It affects how you feel. It affects all of these things. So train close to failure.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have, I know you've said you've kind of come full circle, but is there anything that you've changed your mind on as it relates to the industry?
And since I've started Evlo?
Yeah, since you've started.
I think cardio is the main one.
Okay.
I think at first I was because I came from the world of physical therapy where I treated a lot of runners, I treated a lot of cyclers, I treated a lot of the cardio junkies. And so I was kind of jaded on that. I was like, don't run, don't spin, da-da-da-da. And now I'm kind of okay, I think it's not that it's bad. It's just that it has to be dosed appropriately.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do a ton of running because you will accumulate overuse injuries. You don't want to do a ton of cycling, but putting it into your routine in a way that doesn't affect how you perform in your strength training can be super beneficial.
Yeah.
So I've kind of come full circle on that.
I can't tell you how much my entire mindset has changed around fitness in general, and doing less better and staying consistent with it. Never thought that would have happened based on what just going back to the day that I saw my sister doing Evlo in the living room on the floor, and I'm like, not wasting my time. And it's the thing that I get excited about 5 days a week. And I change which days, I don't change out of order, but I change, maybe I start on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and go through Sunday or whatever, but I know it's always there for me. And I love that it's minimal equipment.
Yes.
I really don't need hardly anything. My gym has it all. Some weights, a pillow, like a small pillow, a stool. Shannon links everything on the Evlo site, the app. I think even on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Minimal equipment, minimal time. It is just, and it's fed to me. Like, here you go. This is what you're doing today. I don't have to go into a gym, which is daunting to me, and look at all the machines and think, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I walk in and I'm like, I'm a little clueless.
Totally.
But now I walk in anywhere and I just set up my Evlo and I am in
you're
a corner.
Confident.
Yes.
And that's so cool. Like, you're confidently lifting heavier and heavier weights.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that you are just the perfect transformation story, because you came from it's like a mind body thing.
Yeah.
And I think so many people can relate to exactly what you're saying.
I mean, even more so than physical, like my mind.
Exactly.
The mentality is, I don't know about muscle, and I should probably do a DEXA scan to see what muscle I've actually gained or lost. I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, I know that I've gained muscle for sure, but in my periods of not doing Evlo, where I lost it.
Right.
But actually I'll add that to my list because I'm very curious.
Yeah, do it.
Doing how often should you do one?
It depends on the data. I mean, once a quarter, probably at the most.
Okay.
Once or twice a year is a great place to be. But if you're really trying to body recomposition, you might get one a little more frequently, once a quarter.
Okay.
So you could try. Have you ever had one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was super interesting.
Yeah.
And they're very quick, but I think it was very helpful to see visceral fat versus muscle. And I mean, it's pretty obvious on my body where I hold fat and where I hold muscle. So it was just cool to see where my lean body mass was.
Yeah,
and
it is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a data point.
Yeah.
I think one thing that if someone is listening wanting to do this, go get a DEXA scan. Make sure that you have eaten and drank about the same both anytime you get it done, because it will register, water and food in your stomach will register as lean mass.
Oh.
So it can overestimate your lean mass, and especially in the trunk, it'll break down your muscle in your legs, arms, trunk. And so if you're like, I gained a ton of muscle in my trunk, it could be, or I lost a ton of muscle, it could be what's in your stomach.
Oh, interesting.
So that's always the little hot tip that I like to give people.
Had no idea. Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. But it's just been so easy. And so it's
Good.
minimal is a word that I would say across the board.
Good.
But yeah, you've helped me in so many ways.
Well, I'm honored that, because I remember, like, I met Nicole years ago, and I met you years ago too. And I remember Peyton and I were just like, I wish Kelly would do Evlo. Like, I wish she would do Evlo. And then you finally started doing it, and then you really started to, and we were like so happy because we were like, yes,
obsessed. It's all I talk to people about. And it's one thing that I share links online. I share things that I love. And it's the one thing that I try to share in a way where somebody doesn't think that I'm getting a kickback or some kind of, you know what I mean? Where it's like, no, this is legit. I mean, all the things I feel like I share are legit.
You have so much to talk about integrity. You have so much integrity.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But I really want, people to know, like, it has changed my mindset and my mind about how I approach fitness across the board and just my health. And I'm so much, I know it's gentle consistency, but I'm so much gentler with myself across the board. And used to just run my body ragged and just
mentally, physically, all it really is. It's so interesting how you see it trickle into the other facets of your life.
Yes.
And you're like, like I kind of take that approach with parenting now, because parenting has been like such a challenge because I have 2 very young children. And so it's been testing me. And I can't imagine. Yeah, I try to apply gentle consistency with parenting too. Like, it's like, especially with like spending quality time with them. Like, I'm like, I have a million things going on. I don't have time to like lay on the floor and play with you. But then I'm like, doesn't need to be a lot. Yeah. It can just be a few minutes.
Just like the workout.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So,
well, you talk about that in your workout. You'll even say, like, I came in today with 15 minutes because I have to, do something for my kids or sick kiddos or I'm not feeling well. And I love that you model that. All of your instructors model that.
I really do.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So how can listeners find out about Evlo?
Yes.
Or where can they download the app?
EvloFitness.com. Should I give, I don't know if you do codes, but I'm happy to give a code if you want.
Give a code. Okay. You want to do a code?
Yes. Should we do Told Y'all?
Told y'all. I love that. No apostrophe.
No apostrophe. Told y'all, no apostrophe. Okay. 6 weeks.
Wow.
That? Okay.
Amazing.
Yay. We didn't talk about this before. I shouldn't have just dropped it on you, but
no, I love that. No, that's incredible.
It sounds like it sounds like we do need to start. I feel like we do need to start paying you for like how you're like, how much you're raving about this. But I'm like,
it's the one thing that I genuinely like pay for and use.
Yay. Oh my gosh.
I think we've all been there where we've paid for a gym membership every month and we're like, I've gone.
And then you feel so guilty and you're like,
I've gone once and I used to work. Nicole and I worked at Gold's Gym in college. I worked at the one. No, I didn't work
in Santa Monica.
No, in college, we are from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
So we worked at the one in Lincoln and then I worked out at the one in Hollywood, but I worked at Equinox in LA when I was there as an assistant in the entertainment.
Fun job, I bet.
It was so, a lot of celebrities coming in and working out. Just wild.
Can you say who you saw?
I suppose I haven't been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
I took a spin class with Drew Barrymore.
Stop.
Neil Patrick Harris was in there all the time.
Oh my gosh.
In the spa. I worked in the spa. He came in the spa.
Oh my gosh.
I was not under any NDA.
Totally.
You know who worked out a lot there, both at the Hollywood location and I think Equinox. I can't remember for sure, but Fabio. Yeah, it was Equinox.
Fabio?
Do you remember Fabio?
Yes.
There's going to be listeners. If there's any Gen Zers, they're probably like, who the hell is she talking about?
Right.
Fabio. His hair,
the
so
hair
long.
Lived up to the hype.
Oh my God. I just remember being like, what? First of all, this man's real.
So, right? He seems like a fictional character.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Like, where is Fabio these days?
What is he up to? I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, Fabio's going to listen to the show notes.
Yeah, Fabio, you want to come on the podcast? Want to come on Told Y'all?
Fabio. Okay, I love that. 6 weeks.
6 weeks, EvloFitness.com.
Okay.
And then Instagram, I'm Dr. Shannon DBT, and the podcast is Dr. Shannon Show.
Amazing. So, and really quick, how are you liking Austin? Now that you've been here for a bit. Yeah.
I love it. I love the food scene. I love like our little neighborhood.
Yeah.
We walk. All the people here are very, very nice. Like,
so kind.
I also came from LA and I just feel like I've met so many more friends here than I ever did in LA.
We were with the last episode I did with the founders of ATX TV Festival. I was saying one of my early observations of moving here in 2010 was Austin was immediately a what can I do for you city? And LA felt very much what can you do for me city?
Yes.
And it may have changed, but
such a good way to put it. And I do feel that immediately. I feel like there's this reciprocity in Austin, whereas in LA, it's kind of like, if you're not someone, like I'm not going to waste my time even like talking to you or even saying hi. Like people don't even say hi there or give you a smile. And I'm from the Midwest, as you are. I'm from the Midwest.
Yes.
So it's like I like to talk to the people at the grocery store and like the
everybody.
hostess and everybody. So
it was like if they couldn't fathom getting anything from you or you helping them, it was the transaction was super quick. Where here, I also just feel like women supporting women. I know that's an overused term, but it's huge. It runs deep here.
It's huge here.
So
and
deep.
It's so inspiring. Like I have so many like founder friends and like friends who are influencers and whatever. And like that did not happen in LA. It just felt more competitive there.
Yeah. Do you guys have favorite restaurants here?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Odd Duck is probably up there. I love Jeffrey's for a special occasion.
Yep.
So obsessed.
So good.
What else do I like? I love Suerte.
Oh, that's where we had our first
date.
Yeah,
our
first date.
Our first date was at Suerte. That was the first time I had been to Suerte.
Yeah.
What else do I love? We go to, let's see, Elizabeth Street.
Love.
Amazing.
Yep. Have you been to Este yet?
Este is so. Este. I forgot. So Este is one of my favorites right now.
Este is killing it right now.
I know. What did I miss?
I love Este. I love Emmer and Rye. Have you been to
I've only been there once. I need to go back.
Oh my gosh. Their menu is on fire right now.
Okay.
Kanji.
Oh,
so good.
Forgot that one. That's also one of our favorites.
But you named all the others too that I love.
Yeah,
Uchiko.
I realized I was ordering wrong at Uchi. And the last time I went, we just ordered like the whole menu. Because it was with a big group. We ordered the whole menu and it was so
and it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then what's your favorite dessert in town?
You know what? Random. Lambert's has this like banana, I don't know the name of it. I think it's like a banana custardy kind of, sounds like it wouldn't be that good, but it was so good.
Really?
And I just remember I don't remember much. I've only had it once. I need to go back and get it or maybe like order out.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Go to Lambert's and get their dessert.
Yeah. Was not on my radar for desserts.
No. What's yours?
I really love Uchiko's milk,
the frozen,
the milk and cereal or the cereal. Do you know what, I butcher the name wrong every time.
Is it the fried ice cream?
Yes. Well, wait, they give you those little fried balls with milk in them.
Oh, I haven't had that.
Oh my God.
Okay. I've had their fried ice cream. It's amazing.
Haven't had that, but get that next time. It's like milk and cereal milk, something.
Okay. Say less. I love cereal.
And they give you these little fried balls with milk inside of them.
Yum.
I dream about it.
My mouth is watering.
So I know I've recently gotten a pretty sweet tooth. I don't know what's happening, and I'm obsessed with ice cream right now. I'm in an ice cream phase of life.
Oh, you got to get the fried ice cream then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
So good.
Well, they also do a s'mores ice cream at Uchiko.
It's
so
yum.
good. Yeah. It's really good.
Oh God. Okay, maybe we'll try to go to Uchiko tonight. We won't be able to get in.
Not with that attitude. Just go early. Go on the early side, and they'll usually take walk-ins.
Okay.
Text me if you get that dessert.
Okay, well, I will.
I'm
going to text you a picture.
Shannon, thank you so much for being on.
I could talk to you all day. This was so fun.
I'm
honored to be here.
Thank you so much for just rewiring our brains, providing education, science-based education, and not pushing a message down our throat that feels unattainable and is helpful more so than it is contributing to the noise.
Well, thank you. That's my life's mission. Truly, it is. I know that sounds cheesy, but it is. So thank you. I'm honored.
Welcome. Great way to end it.